SMU. He averaged 13 points and 10 rebounds and shot 82% in 4 games with Sigurtam Istanbul in the Turkish TBL League last year, and even played in the 2023 FIBA U20 European Championship in Greece. Coach Enfield described him as a true low-post threat who has a great basketball IQ. So Coach said he'll play a crucial role for the Mustangs this season.
Yeah, Bree, a really tough, big body. I think the college basketball world, Brian, a buzz getting to see his debut on U.S. soil tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you beat out a blue blood like North Carolina, which is who it came down to in the final 2, that's when you know somebody has an enormous level of talent.
And Yigitoglu with the ball up top, feeds his teammate Boopie Miller off the mark with his first attempt. Here's the starting lineup for the Spartans. Kenyon Giles had a team lead, 17 points off the bench against Florida Gulf Coast in the season opener for the Spartans. So he gets the start today. Rolling out Donovan Atwell. He's a preseason All-Southern Conference choice.
Yeah, speaking with Coach Jones, one thing he loves about this team is how many returners he has, guys that know the culture, not to mention the guys that they've added are older. They have multiple grad transfers and an experienced older group that is excited about this matchup.
Here's the starting 5 for SMU. B.J. Edwards had 13 points and 7 boards for the Mustangs last time out as the Ponies knocked off Florida A&M. Cario Oquindo coming off a season at Oregon where he averaged 7.2 points per game, and that's Oquindo firing. Cario getting it done.
Right on cue. The three-point shooting for both teams will be a major key. Can SMU defend their three-point line? And then can they, on the other end, make threes like they just did?
Giles, left wing triple try, no good. The newcomer pulling down a board. Now Miller pushing the pace. Oquindo again. No. Second chance opportunity. Doesn't fall for Johan Traor.
Yeah, not only the ability to, or the desire to take that three by Oquindo, but the fight on the glass. Something that SMU, they have significant size, but they are attacking the glass and showing they are a gritty ball club.
Feeding it to Edwards off the glass, rolls out. 5-3 Spartans, 2 minutes deep into the first half. Driving, it's Polite. Over to Jalen Breath. Breath's second field goal. He's up to 4 points.
Yeah, they haven't hesitated to go inside against the size and the length of SMU.
Getting tied up down low. Here's the keys to the game for Spartans versus Mustangs.
Yeah,
Coach, you got to control this amazing tempo.
Yeah, you got to control the tempo. One of the fastest teams in the country, so you want to play at your pace, take your opportunities when you can get them. Then transition defense is going to be big. Can they get back and stop SMU? And then SMU, can they dominate the paint? And can they force turnovers like you see right there? They feed their offense by those turnovers.
That's why those are the keys to the game. Brian hit it on the head. That pace that SMU tries to play with, a big part of that, like you mentioned, those active hands causing deflections.
I mean, the 3 guards in the starting lineup already have 7 steals apiece. Very rare do you see that kind of steal production from, again, 3 trio of guards committed to the defensive end, knowing it leads to offense and will lead to wins.
Off the glass and in for Yigitoglu. His first bucket as a Mustang.
First shot attempt, first bucket, a good sign. Not a young man that looks like a freshman whatsoever, doesn't play like a freshman, has played against pros down there in Turkey. And you think about a guy like Luka Doncic who's played against pros and how much that benefits him. And you can see the big fellas very comfortable out there on the floor.
3 years in Turkey's first division, priming him for action in the ACC. Boopie Miller gets in on the party.
Yeah, I love the idea of turning down a good shot to get a great shot. Good job by Oquindo to take that drive on the closeout, get to the paint, and find Miller for the open 3.
That gives the Mustangs a lead, 8-7. Polite trying to get it with the left hand, couldn't get a good angle.
Yeah, so much size inside by SMU. Those shots that seem like easy shots normally are not so easy against this length.
BJ Edwards makes his way from one side of the paint to the other and scores.
Just can't say enough about BJ Edwards and how much he's just transformed as a player from last year. So much offensive confidence. Basically tells him, hey, you're too small, young fella. Let me get off the glass and flex with my 7'2" freshman as I get the N1.
This is a 7-0 run for SMU that has lasted 62 seconds, giving the Mustangs a 10-7 advantage. Yigitoglu checks out for SMU. Matt Cross checks in. He played 69 seconds in SMU's opener against Tarleton State. His back tightened up with some spasms. Great to see him back on the floor.
Yeah, and Cross is not the tallest on the team, but he is known on the team by the staff as the best rebounder on this team. Just a tough competitor and a really talented player.
Sizono off the mark. Another chance for UNCG. It's Atwell. SMU able to control the rebound and push the pace. Boopie Miller thought about it from the U. Right back to Miller. Boopie! Six quick points for Boopie Miller, the junior transfer from Wake Forest, and SMU is on an 11-0 run on the Hilltop.
Last year finished second in a very competitive SoCon, and just an outstanding basketball coach and leader of men.
Spent some time on staffs at both VCU and Georgia, learning under a couple of other great men there. Shaka Smart, George Felton, two of his mentors. SMU looking for another stop. Atwell pulls up. No good. Edwards with the board.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last game. The speed of SMU's perimeter defense, to be able to have two guys contest that shot, says a lot about their commitment on the defensive end.
Matt Cross unable to draw iron. Ball back in the hands of UNCG. Akram Ahmed checks in. Here's the Andy Enfield, first year at SMU, spent 11 seasons at Southern California, taking the Trojans to 5 of the last 8 NCAA tournaments, including the Elite 8 in 2021.
Yeah, what a perfect fit for this university. Such a like university at USC, in a like league, as he and A.D. Rickard talked about when they hired him, and just a first-class coach as well, a man of character, and has done an elite job recruiting everywhere he's been. And you can already see with this SMU roster their ability to recruit as a staff and attract talent and then get the best out of them. This SMU program has a huge upside in the ACC.
Brought back some tremendous players from last year's squad and added a lot of big pieces, including 6 young men who averaged double figures at their previous stop. Here's Boopie Miller, who came from Wake Forest. Unable to get that one to fall on the second attempt. UNCG needs a bucket desperately. They get it on the flush from Malik Henry.
Yeah, that's a great job right there. We talked about controlling the tempo, but when they have opportunities, they want to push to get easy baskets as well. That time had a great transition. Pace, got the dunk just like they wanted.
UNCG had missed its last 8 shots. 5-point Mustang lead. Edwards feeding it inside. Ball knocked away. SMU regains control. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Edwards. Ball tied up and swept away by the Spartans. Feeding it up top to Henry. Welcome back to Texas. Malik Henry from Longview. The former Lobo. Malik Henry has a huge crowd of family and friends in the building tonight to support him.
And just a junkyard dog. 4 offensive rebounds. He's a motor guy. He's a toughness guy. So anytime you get a guy who doesn't necessarily always score, but is one of your energy guys rewarded early in the game, it gives you a lot of confidence.
Yigitoglu back on the floor. Pine push Henry off of him. And Henry gets whistled. Trying to impose his will on the UNCG defense.
Yeah, good dig there by Giles to be able to try to get it, and good call by the referees. Henry contested it, but did get some on the arm, and that's the advantage for Yigitoglu. He's so tall, long, and is so composed, doesn't get rattled. Obviously his first game and a lot of excitement and jitters. He gets the first basket to go down, now he gets the first free throw to go down, so that helps you settle into a game, even as what I would call a veteran freshman.
And not completely serious. He was a lot of smiles coming out on his face during pregame warm-ups, Brian. Love to see that. He's just excited to be on the floor, finally to make his U.S. debut. Came over and chatted with us for a little while. We had to make sure we said his name correctly.
Absolutely.
I got some messages for friends who knew I was doing the game tonight after seeing his name. Man, good luck. It's not that hard, though. UNCG doesn't get a shot up. They've only made 2 of their last 10 tries.
Another good stop by SMU, something that they care about and track on the bench. How many kills, meaning 3 stops in a row, can you string together in a game? And that's a big part of this team's identity. There's no doubt they can score, but when they buy into the defensive end of the floor, they will be dangerous.
Yigitoglu spinning and walking.
The travel call may be a little different in Turkey. You may get that extra half a step. It's a little welcome to college basketball moment.
There are a lot of adjustments when it comes to playing in Europe and playing in the U.S. Mostly we hear about the banging down low, maybe not quite as often happening over there. Giles going against Miller. Yigitoglu putting his hands up, forcing the shot maybe a little bit as it goes off the mark. Harris pulls up, baseline 2.
Instant offense. He wastes no time. Again, the evolution for this young man last year had a breakout season, his best statistical season. And now in a different role for this SMU club, but embracing it and more firepower for Andy Enfield. Double-figure scorer coming off the bench that can light it up.
Cross playing some tight D. Giles with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Fades back, knocks it down.
Really tough shot there, and the thing that makes SMU's team so good, they have team speed on the perimeter. They don't have to put in rotations, and then they have size once you get by, so it makes it hard at the rim. Speaking of size, big fella with the fake handoff puts it on the floor, showing more of his versatility of his game. Nice block by UNCG, and here you see the baseline, no hesitation, pull up, Chuck Harris.
This SMU basketball roster features 3 players who have already reached the 1,000-point career milestone, and one may join them tonight. Matt Cross, Brian, just 10 points away.
Yeah, again, speaks to the talent that they've been able to acquire on this roster. Chuck Harris was already here. Everyone else recruited via the transfer portal, and talent is definitely what helps you win ball games, and they've done a great job of that.
Quick shot by Harris is short. SMU leads 18-13 over UNC Greensboro. Here's Atwell, preseason all-conference selection. This is polite, no good.
Great offensive possession at time by UNCG. Was able to get multiple one-more passes to get a high quality shot. If they can create those kind of shots consistently, gives them an even better chance.
Harris from long distance. Davis, quick pass, gets it right back and fires from the left wing. Too strong. Offensive rebound by Domas Calzones.
Yeah, absolutely love the fight by this UNCG team. Again, a team that's won 21 games last season. They're not afraid to go on the road and compete, but they have to be careful turning the ball over because this is what fuels the SMU offense.
Harris will head to the free throw line. SMU now in a bit of a drought. Only 1 of 7 over this last stanza.
Yeah, good job in transition, attacking off 2 feet right there, under control, able to draw the foul. You go off 1 foot right there, young fellas at home may not get the same call, but great job by the veteran Harris getting to the free throw line. Anytime a scorer can get to the free throw line, it is a good sign to see the ball go in, get some of those easy baskets that are unguarded.
Harris scored 15 in SMU's win over Florida A&M. His 45th career game with 15 or more.
Yeah, really evolved as a playmaker last season, being able to average over 3 assists a game, was 9th in the AAC in assists. Not just a guy who can score, but also competing much more on the defensive end consistently.
Giles, nice give to Donovan Atwell.
Yeah, great half-court execution, the backdoor cut, able to get an easy layup.
SMU throws it away. Teams are even in turnovers now, 3 apiece.
Yeah, great drive and caught Harris sleeping a little bit on the backside. Again, those kind of easy baskets, especially when you're playing against this kind of length and this kind of size, definitely want to be able to create as many of those kind of opportunities as you can get. Great ball movement, great player movement, and then the scoop with one hand. Giles, nasty.
Going against Yigitoglu, gets the bucket. Giles up to 7. No look pass across the way to Okendo. Now back outside. Here's Harris. Harris moves to the middle. Short. UNCG can push the pace. Polite with the left hand.
3 layups in a row for UNCG. Gets the game tied. This team again. They've won 21 games last season. They have a veteran team with about 8 returners, and they are unafraid in Dallas.
Yigitoglu can't do it on the alley-oop. UNCG can take the lead this trip down. Giles, nothing but the net there. And a charge taken by the Spartans.
One of the biggest momentum plays you can have. It's not just about the dunk that most people celebrate at home, but coaches and teams love the charge, especially in transition. You see the UNCG bench go crazy, standing ovation by the bench. Those are momentum plays. You take away a basket, you get a foul on the other team, and then you also get a defensive stop. Again, showing their grit and toughness. Well-coached team by Coach Jones.
SMU went on an 11-0 run earlier. UNCG now on an 8-0 run, and the Spartans have a lead. 21-19, UNC Greensboro over SMU, and another SMU turnover. Giles swatted away by B.J. Edwards. Back up floor. SMU can't capitalize as a block by Donovan Atwell sends it the other direction. And finally a chance to breathe as it goes out of bounds.
I mean, look at both these teams committing to the defensive end. We talked about coming in, all these multiple scores. Big time LeBron James chase down type of block by Edwards. And then you see the same thing on the other end by UNCG. Love the effort and how much this game means. It is only the second game of the season for UNCG and the third game of the season for SMU, but playing in a playoff type atmosphere as far as the defensive grit and how much each possession means to both teams.
8:43 remains in the opening half. UNCG with a 2-point advantage. They led by 5 in the early going, scored the first 5 points of this game. Spinning and just popping to the other side of the rim, no good.
SMU just 1 of their last 10. They have to get a high quality shot on this possession. Scoring drought of right over 2 minutes, and they've turned the ball over the last 3 times. UNCG must continue to fight on the defensive end. They are outsized as far as height, but they are coming with an enormous amount of competitive will and collective toughness.
SMU coming off A 102-73 win over Florida A&M. The biggest scoring output since 106 against Memphis back in February. Edwards goes down that right side of the lane, turns around and hits. We're tied again.
Can't speak enough about Edwards. There's no way he was making that play the last 2 seasons of college basketball for himself. But a beautiful stop and turn, a la Kobe Bryant on that one, and big possession that the Mustangs needed.
Off the mark by Atwell. Atwell is 1 for 5 on the night so far.
One thing that's different in this game for SMU, they have to get used to playing with both Cross and Yigitoglu. But there you see it playing together very well above the rim. What a dime, what a finish. Welcome to the hilltop, big fella.
Yigitoglu throwing it down. Thanks to Boopie Miller. SMU back in front, 23-21. Driving and pitching. Miller knocks it away. And the Mustangs will go to the break, leading by 2. One more look at the alley-oop to the Turkish big man on the hilltop.
I think those EGBs have been working for the team like we just saw tonight.
Yeah, creating some energy there with Akram Ahmed hitting from distance on his first shot of the evening. UNC Greensboro back in the lead, 24-23.
Yeah, so much of those energy-giving behaviors have so much to do with things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Dr. Jokar, very well known, working with some of the best teams in the country for being able to get inside the psychology of an athlete and of a team.
Saizono trying to get inside, pushing it out to Miles Jones. Short on that attempt. Here's Miller feeding Edwards. Mustangs back ahead.
Zero hesitation. B.J. Edwards in transition for 3. Not only making threes, but also no hesitation off the dime from Miller. Love to see young men in college basketball evolve and continue to get better. And B.J. Edwards' story is a special one.
Foul away from the basketball. Miles Jones getting whistled.
I mean, that's normally a shot you see shooters, quote-unquote shooters, to take. B.J. Edwards just a ball player, but has definitely added from that time in the gym, that rededication in the offseason. He's been infused with confidence from this staff. He talked about how much he's just really appreciated the relationships with his staff and being able to just continue to develop. And it is a great thing to see when you have 2 lead guards like Miller and Edwards.
Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Yigitoglu working off the left hand, cross there for the follow. Now just 8 points away from 1,000.
Now you see Cross is now playing at the 3 position, the smaller 4 position with Traore. What a big lineup. Definitely gives you some advantage on the glass like we just saw.
Feeding inside around Yigitoglu for the hammer dunk.
I mean, Giles, what a floor general. He's got 2 assists only, but he has really controlled the tempo, as we talked about being one of the big keys, and spoon feeds his big man again for another finish.
Mustang lead trimmed to 2. Edwards looking to extend it. Bounces all around. Yigitoglu there to put it in.
Back-to-back offensive rebounds by SMU. Again, using that size and length to their advantage.
8 points now for the newcomer from Turkey. And a swat. Thought he had it cleanly. Can't believe it.
I don't blame him there, and great block, but I'll also give a lot of savviness to the contact right there, just to bait the referee in to maybe think like, hey, I stopped and initiate this contact against big man. He's got the length. The only way I'm gonna get this up is this way, and it worked out. Normally you don't get those calls in a row, but again, give credit to the savviness of the ball handler.
Ronald Polite III. He has 3 points. Grad student transfer from George Mason. Scored 7.5 points per game last year.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that was a grad school basketball move right there.
And UNCG gets another opportunity on this end of the floor.
Love the way they take their time off an offensive rebound. Not in a hurry. Set it back up. Let's kill some clock and keep this a lower possession game against this fast-paced SMU club.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Polite pulls up. And UNCG gets another opportunity. This will be the 3rd time on this visit.
7 offensive rebounds in the first half for both clubs. The undersized UNCG team does not measure the heart.
Again, 5 on the shot clock. Knocked away by Miller. Boopie trying to feed Cross. But getting in the way is Ahmed. Now Polite. 2 quick fouls on Yigitoglu.
And who's drawn both of them is Polite III. Again, that grad school basketball presence. I've been doing this for a long time, and Boopie Miller got a little bit too flashy on that one. Probably wishes he had that one back, and UNCG able to take advantage by the shot fake. And there you see Yigitoglu come down with his hands just a little bit where he didn't stay vertical.
Four minutes remaining in the opening half, and it has been at a furious pace. Polite able to hit the back end. Chris Mikoski, Brian Burton, and Bree Sorensen with you on Monday night in Dallas, Texas. SMU and UNC Greensboro from Moody Coliseum. Traore had Jalen Breath cause some resistance. And that'll take us to a timeout. Mustangs leading the Spartans.
As elite as they can be. They have the offensive talent. We've mentioned it. 6 double figures in the first game, 5 in the second. Not even to mention 2 double-figure ability scorers who didn't play in those 2 games. So many offensive weapons, but the defensive side of the ball is what will be the difference that can make this SMU ball club one that can compete at the highest level in the ACC.
Well, they're hitting one of those goals right now and holding the Spartans to 39% shooting, but SMU a little lower than that, 38% from the field thus far. Nice little finger roll from Kenyon Giles. He's up to 9.
Giles is a bad boy. If you haven't been watching this game, you wouldn't know, but if you're watching this game, the man with the mask is getting it done for his club.
Traore looking inside for Cross. Cross pulls it in and then kicks it out. Here's Chuck Harris. Ambrose Hilton with the offensive board.
So much activity on the glass for SMU. Now 8 offensive rebounds.
Harris now hitting Boopie. Off the stanchion. It stays with SMU.
UNCG done a good job of taking away the paint. They haven't allowed it to be easy for SMU, and they've gotten some good looks from 3, but often contested and not completely wide open.
Quick feed to Harris, who gets it in. Working against Saizano. And SMU's lead is now up to 4.
And not often you'll see this, but Coach Enfield and staff has done this for B.J. Edwards and Chuck Harris, where they're getting them almost on post-ups or lobs off of their baseline out of bounds. Usually you see that the other way around. You're doing it for your bigs. Coach Enfield doing it for his guards.
Andy Enfield on the sideline. The previously part of his journey was head coach at Florida Gulf Coast, the last team that UNCG saw in their opener. Miller off the glass and in. 6-point Mustang lead.
Yeah, great pass there by Harris. Great deceleration by Boopie Miller to be able to go from fast to slow to get that easy layup.
Here's Davis back to Saizano. hit every part of the rim and finally falls.
A little bit of a gamble there. We talked about SMU's ability to get steals, but that time the gamble made them pay. A dangerous three-point shooting team, UNCG, as they hit 12 in their opener against Florida Gulf Coast, 10 of those in the first half.
Under 2 minutes left in the opening half. Swish from Matt Cross. 5 points for 1,000.
I mean, that snapped the net. Absolutely. Just a swish beyond the shadow of a doubt. Talk about a guy with a sharp shooting touch. The staff says he's probably one of our best shooters. He doesn't always like to shoot it, but if you see that missed net make go in just now, he should shoot it more often.
Davis left swing triple try off the back of the iron. SMU looking to extend the lead before halftime.
No.
Harris ends a run of 3 consecutive made field goals by the Mustangs. Giles with a floater.
Giles with 17 in the opener, 5 of 11 from 3, but he has 11 in this first half and has been the calming influence, directing traffic, getting buckets, creating shots, getting stops. Absolutely love the way this young man's played this evening.
Miller pulls up. No good. Board brought down by Saizono. Handed off to Giles. The masked man with 11 points on 5 of 10 from the field in his 16 minutes of work.
Yeah, transferring from Radford.
15 seconds on the game clock, 5 on the shot clock. Saizono will take it. Short, 8 seconds left. SMU will look to get one final shot up. Harris, good, with 2 seconds left. Great way to close out the opening 20 minutes for the Mustangs.
Yeah, great.
And we'll see if those preseason projections hold any weight at all, or will both of these teams defy those expectations. Ball goes out of bounds, and UNC Greensboro will have a chance to get on the board first in the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, the thing that's a little bit different when SMU's working to get big number 24 involved is they're not used to playing around someone that with that kind of size inside. Granted, Traore is really talented and can play inside as well, but it's a much different feel trying to get him involved in the half court versus they've kind of been more guard dominant prior to the last couple games.
Polite taking his time, finds a seam, doesn't fall, but he will have a chance at the charity stripe.
So a big part of the game plan for SMU is how are we going to defend ball screens? You heard Coach Enfield talk about that. He's got his hand in his face of frustration. That was a refusal of the ball screen, but that's also kind of that chemistry. We talked about the offensive chemistry, getting new players involved. Now you see the defensive chemistry in that communication. A little bit of a miscommunication. Great job taking advantage by Polite the third.
Polite has 5 points tonight, just 1 of 4 from the field. Giles, the leading scorer for UNC Greensboro with 11. Edwards and Miller, along with Yigitoglu, all with 8 points apiece for the Mustangs.
You heard Coach Jones say it. We want to take them out of the shots they want in this half and get the shots we want.
Yigitoglu hands it off to Miller. No good.
And granted, Miller can make those shots, but you want to take that kind of shot from distance off of one pass. Those are the shots UNCG wants SMU to take.
Giles, right wing triple try, no good. Board brought down by Jones.
Yeah, undersized, but continues to attack the glass, and that is where the big fella, Yigitoglu, is going to be attacked more than anything. In ball screen situations, he picks up his third. He's out trying to hedge. I don't know if that's exactly what they wanted him to do, but granted, UNCG attacking the big man, showing him again, welcome to college basketball, big fella. We know you're talented, but we're here to win.
Atwell with the ball in his hands. Little fumble by Giles. Gets it right back to the SoCon all-conference preseason selection. Knocked around, and it'll go to SMU. And Yigitoglu is going to have to check out after acquiring that third foul. Keon Ambrose Hilton will enter.
Yeah, great defensive stop on that possession. Again, can SMU string together some of those kills? That's one. Can they get 2 more in a row? And can they get a high-quality shot on the offensive end?
Traore over to Ambrose Hilton. Trying to get it to Miller.
I'd love to see them play a little more inside out. Get your feet in the paint just like that and get the shots you want or get fouled. That's what makes this SMU team, to me, in the first couple games so good, is they're so good at getting to the paint, being able to spray the shooters, being able to hit the roll man, being able to get offensive rebounds. So with this kind of lineup, this is who they've started the last 2 games. A little more familiarity, a little more chemistry. Let's see if they can separate from UNCG in this next stretch.
Boopie Miller is somebody that Mike Jones over on the UNCG bench is very familiar with from Miller's time at Wake Forest. Told us he's such a dynamic player, really hard to stop and explosive in transition. Big part of the blueprint coming into today for the Spartans to have success, to neutralize Boopie.
It'll be a big part of the success of any team that plays against SMU, because he is as good of a point guard as you will find in the country. That's right, I said it. He should have been probably, and he said this before the game, I'm not gonna lie, I'm mad. I felt like I should have been ACC Player of the Week. Averaged 21 points a game, 8 assists, 5.5 rebounds, not to mention 3.5 steals.
Polite thought about it, pulls it down for Atwell. Jones beating Giles, kicking inside to Brett. Brett working hard against Ambrose Hilton, but walked with it in the painted area.
Tough break there. I mean, I thought he really did a good job establishing himself and not traveling, but the guys in the stripes know a lot better than me over here with the headset on. Good stop by SMU.
Boopie Miller, the leading scorer for SMU with 9. 3 of 10 from the field. Puts it up again. Can't get into double figures on that trip down.
Ambrose Hilton has 2 different color shoes. I just want to make sure I point that out for those at home. I never could pull that off, and I'm not near as good of a player as Ambrose Hilton, but I wonder if it gives him special powers. I don't know.
Brett will head to the line.
Brett's a good player. Good face-up, crab, dribble, spin, strong. A lot of contact. I don't know that, again, that was a foul. I don't know that the last one was a travel, but that's what happens when you put pressure on the painted area. You have a better chance to get the benefit of doubt on calls like that.
Brett short on his first attempt. Brett is from Oklahoma City, so Coach Jones thought that he would also have a really big crowd of supporters in the building tonight. Great young man, every facet. Works so hard to get back and has turned himself into the most consistent inside player for the Spartans. Polite playing some good defense, but Miller wins that battle.
Yeah, the man on a mission. He said he's motivated. He wants to put this SMU team on the map.
Miller, the first Mustang, into double figures with 11. Back to the top for Polite. Trying to get around Miller, and Miller hand-checked him. And now Miller has 3 personals to go along with Samet Yigitoglu.
Just the pace of Miller's game. He kind of has like that old man at the YMCA kind of game with a little bit of flash with this new age as well, but great pace on that ball screen, the last possession, to slow and hesitate and then accelerate to get that easy 2.
Now playing with Miller and Yigitoglu on the SMU bench. There's that masked man, Giles.
Chesapeake, Virginia, stand up. The masked man is getting it done in Moody Coliseum.
UNC Greensboro back within 3. Giles playing some good D, but on the second chance, it's B.J. Edwards.
Yeah, great job by BJ attacking, being physical, doesn't get it, but gets the quick jump, put back. Kind of a, Brett doesn't like the foul. He's like, I barely touched him. But Edwards with the relentless pursuit. It's a little bit of an embarrassment of riches, if you will, for SMU when you can take out Boopie Miller and Edwards is who comes in for him as your other starting guard. And then you have Chuck Harris. Again, the guard play for this SMU ball club will be a big strength all season.
Talking about Giles' defense a moment ago, 2 steals for him tonight. His team as a whole has 3. 46-41, Mustangs can't extend the lead.
Great take there, but great transition defense numbers by UNCG. Big key for them in this game was, can they get transition defense? They've done a pretty good job, minus the turnovers.
15:38 remaining, second half. Davis off to the left, throwing it away after pulling down the rebound. Atwell. Edwards to Harris with some space. Off the front of the iron, but cleaning things up, it's Traore.
Grown man pursuit right there. Uses strength from the weight room, and Coach Schultz moved him out of the way, got the rebound in the easy 2.
Seven-point SMU lead. Trying to trim it, can't. Harris pulls up from the free throw line and hits.
Yeah, great job slipping the screen that time by Traore to cause a little bit of confusion for the defender. Great decision on the pull-up by Chuck Harris.
Mustangs have scored the last 6 over the course of the previous 90 seconds. And the Mustangs lead 50-41. Hard work on second chance opportunities. ACC action on the horizon here on the hilltop.
Yeah, getting some great challenges and some great tests. Get to go home for old home for Chuck Harris to go to Butler and get a big time game against Mississippi State. That'll be right here at Moody Coliseum.
Yeah, that's on the bucket list for me. A game in Hinkle Fieldhouse, a special place.
I've gotten to coach there before. Definitely is a special place.
Bringing down the board is Colbert into the game for the first time. Edwards facing up Polite, now getting it over to Harris. Harris feeding Cross. Cross with 7. 3 points away from hitting 1,000 on his career.
Yeah, great pace and possession to be able to get the ball inside, get some of your forwards a touch. Great face-up jumper there by Cross, and then great forced turnover. Starting to get a little more separation, SMU is.
SMU with an 11-point advantage. And Matt Cross 3 points away. Thank you to all veterans. We hope you are getting to enjoy some of your Veterans Day with some great basketball from the hilltop.
Yeah, we talk often about competing and about a battle and about war and about making these, metaphoric references. These gentlemen and these women have put out their real lives on the line for so much for us to be able to benefit from. So big shout out to the veterans, no doubt.
SMU on an 8-0 run, second big run they've had today. They win on an 11-0 spurt early in the first half. Trying to add more to it. Having a hard time though, banging down low and back to the free throw line.
Great job attacking the paint. Again, 2 feet in the paint for the guards of SMU. Good things are normally going to happen. There's so much shooting around the perimeter, so many bigs and so much athleticism and length at the rim. We haven't even been able to talk about Colbert and his talent yet with all the talent on this team. Minutes a little bit less than maybe it had been, but this talented young man was at LSU, also at Kansas State. They feel like he has the promise to be a defensive player of the year type of talent with this young man, and also great finisher at the rim and great motor as well.
Colbert averaging 4.5 points per game on the young season. Stretches the run to 9-0. That's lasted 3 minutes for SMU. Defense continues to get stops. 13 minutes left in regulation. Beating Henry. Met some resistance from Hilton, and he'll head to the line.
Best way to stop a run. Get another high percentage shot, high quality shot at the rim. Great penetration and dish. Going for another dunk, and good job by UNCG, just not going away. Although SMU's on a 9-0 run, good job of getting the highest percentage shots you can and then getting to the foul line.
First points for UNCG in the last 3.5 minutes plus.
Had those 20 points in the first half in the paint. This would be their first points in the paint. I don't know if they count quite as points in the paint because of the free throw, but their first attempt in the paint to be able to get points at the high percentage. So good job connecting to the free throw line and ending that drop.
It's not part of the metric, but it really should be. When you force yourself to the free throw line, it's just as good. 10-point SMU lead. Edwards to Harris. Left wing triple try, too strong. Board brought down by Jones. Atwell looking for space. Picked off by Edwards. Edwards and Atwell. It's B.J. Edwards winning the battle.
Yeah, thing of beauty right there, going over the top of the strip. Great job getting the ball high with a high pickup and another deceleration layup. Edwards nifty in the passing lane.
Lifting it high, Cross coming down with the board. Harris looking outside, thought about it, would have had the milestone. Right back, another chance. Cross 3 points away from 1,000 on his career. Standing in three-point territory, but it's his teammate firing. Harris, it rattles out. On the floor, Henry, tie ball. It'll go the Spartans' direction. UNCG can't buy a bucket lately. Haven't made a field goal in nearly 5 minutes.
The game, and he said the time off the court is what makes this team so special together.
And Bree has more on Boopie.
Yeah, Coach Enfield said that he has a lot of expectations on Boopie as a team captain this season. He said he's a leader by example, and you can tell by just the short months he's been here, the other players really look up to him. He said he always has control of the game, and while he may be small at only 6 foot, Boopie is fast. He uses his speed and quickness to affect the game on both offense and defense, just like he's been doing here tonight, Brian and Chris.
All right, Bree, thank you very much. Jalen Breath with a bucket, the first one for the Spartans in 5 minutes, and they trail by 10 with 11 minutes to go in regulation. The SMU D able to lock down for such a long period of time, but still haven't created a ton of separation.
Yeah, like again, I think both teams have been able to really do a good job on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about it in the open, how offensive-minded these teams are and how good they are on the offensive end, but both teams keeping the opponent to right at 40%. So good job defensively by both squads, figuring out who can get more stops and create a little more offense in this last 11 minutes.
Boopie back into the game and continues to add to his highlight reel.
0 to 100 real quick. Exactly what you just saw, a blur and a flash by that young man.
Sitting on the bench for a good amount of time with 3 fouls, knocked away by Edwards. Those active hands. SMU unable to capitalize. Tibet Goriner, the Turkish teammates of Samet Yigitoglu.
Yeah, infield's done a really good job of recruiting international talent. This young man's another one who almost, he's in the 800s. He may not get quite to 1,000, but he's another one that could be another 1,000-point scorer that's on this SMU ball club.
Previously at San Jose State and Arizona, as you take a look at the international lineup on both sides tonight.
I think associate head coach Chris Capco deserves a lot of credit. Has built up some really strong relationships overseas and a reputation of trust. That's a big reason how they were able to get some of these difference-making talent on the international side for the Mustangs. Recruiting is the lifeblood of a program, and if you don't have good players, it makes it very hard to win. And SMU has some very good players, but as does UNCG, and not quite able to get the point production this half that they want. But boy, is this team really well coached and really tough.
They've had some flashes of brilliance, and I have a hard time believing this is a 6th-place team in the SoCon.
The beauty of college basketball now, especially with the transfer portal, especially with different guys getting new opportunities, and you have 8 returners. That's such a rare thing. We talked about it with Coach Jones, including his son being on the team. Rare to have that many guys come back. It helps you with continuity. It helps you compete in a game like this where you're naturally a little more out-talented.
Mason So fresh into the ball game. Can't hit on his first bucket of the year. Tied up down low, 24 and 24. Henry with Yigitoglu.
Well, you mentioned earlier some of the things that are different playing international. Here you see that box out where both guys, they just kind of got tied up and a little extra physicality going on there, but that's probably one of the bigger differences when you talk about like the speed of the game and some of the physicality is how they officiate, how they call fouls is going to be an adjustment for the freshmen.
Double personal. Both Henry and Yigitoglu get one. So Yigitoglu now has 4. Breath has 4, sitting on the UNCG bench. For Henry, that was his 2nd. (59-45) SMU over UNC Greensboro. Giles fading away, can't get it to go, but another opportunity for the Spartans. SMU leading in offensive rebounding by 3. Whistle down low, and Malik Henry will have a chance at the stripe.
And it hasn't been the prettiest game. We've already kind of referred to that, but SMU is very hard to score against because you have to be able to do it over the course of a game. Great job on the pick and roll, but it all started because of an offensive rebound. They got the first stop, that UNCG was able to get the second chance opportunity, and that led to more execution and being able to get that dive on the pick and roll. But SMU has been bringing their hard hat. They have held their opponent right now to just 36% from the field, especially in the second half.
Falls in for Henry. And looking forward to Henry's homecoming to Texas Coach Jones told us that he gives 100% effort all the time, and playing hard results in that production in transition at the rim. Also, a lot of different defensive stats.
Yeah, another young man, grad student transferring from George Mason, just an absolute warrior, and has been an impactful player today, and you can tell he's going to have a big year for this team.
The former Longview Lobo back in the Lone Star State. His team trailing by 12. Goiner setting the screen for Edwards. Feeding the big man to Colbert. It'll go the Spartans' direction.
Yeah, they're representing what their mascot is, right? The Spartans. Just absolutely no quit in this team. Nothing but fight and resilience. Again, it's not about how pretty you play. They're definitely maximizing in the gritty. If they can get a little bit more offensive production, and then SMU trying to figure out, can we string together those kills that we want to make sure we get 7 of in each game.
Edwards knocking it loose. Regained by the Spartans. Colbert with misdirection. I just thought that was solid big man defense, but he'll get a foul called on him.
Yeah, that's where I talked about Colbert. They think he can be a defensive player of the year type of guy. Might have got a little extra. Anytime you swing down just a little bit, it gives the referee an opportunity to call a foul versus staying vertical and making the opponent. Sometimes it's just about making them have to take and make a tough shot versus actually getting the block.
At the free throw line tonight, UNC Greensboro 10 of 13, SMU 10 of 14. Henry has made all 5 of his free throws. Can't hit the 6th. SMU basketball. That's what you call the broadcaster jinx.
I was just about to say it. Just look at this team and the fight that they have. Love the bench from the energy. Love the culture that this UNCG ball club has. Again, we're talking about a program that has won more games in the state than everyone else except for the other 2 blue bloods that are in this exact conference, ACC. Just down 11, and the resilience of this ball club, they're in the bonus, so if they can continue to play aggressive, play in the paint, and get to the foul line, it may be beneficial for them.
SMU gets the ball right back. Third foul against Henry. B.J. Edwards will bring it up. He has 12 points. Second best on this team tonight, behind only Miller. Big toss up high to Okendo, but falls harmlessly to the floor. Giles gets whistled for his second.
Yeah, both teams in a bonus now. So it will be really crucial to see who can make free throws down the stretch of this game. It's been a physical game. The rest of the way, we're going to see a lot of free throws, I'd imagine. That time was a designed backdoor lob or back screen lob. Got the contact and connects them first.
Cario Oquendo, transfer from Oregon. Before that, at Georgia. He's up to 5 points. Sizono brings the ball up the floor for UNCG. Spartans haven't made a field goal in over 3 minutes. Cannot afford another cold streak this late in the ball game. Have to find a way to produce on the offensive end. Both teams have gone cold from the field of late.
SMU hadn't scored in the last 2.5 minutes, and UNCG is now at the point where they're one of their last 9 from the field. Good thing for them is they're in the bonus. They just want to get to the free throw line. Yeah, we talked about it already. 8 minutes left in the game. Free throw shooting will be a major key.
Giles off the mark on the back end. 61-49, the SMU lead. Colbert. Oquendo gets it over. Traore. Edwards. And Edwards will head to the free throw line after the break. Mustangs
winning without even scoring the ball. Coach said he's one of the most improved guys on the team. He really worked hard over the summer to improve his jump shot. And the team really relies on him as a returner. And tonight, Chris and Brian, we can see his hard work from over the summer is apparent. He currently has 12 points. He's about to shoot some free throws right now.
Yeah, second leading scorer for SMU tonight, Bree. 1 point away from Ty Miller for the team lead.
He had averaging 13 on the season already, playing with an enormous amount of confidence. He talked about in the press conference after the last game just how much he's having so much fun with this group of players he's playing with, and the staff, again, has just infused confidence in him. Coach Enfield has a track record of being able to develop and let guards play and players play with confidence, and it's definitely showing with Edwards.
And Edwards now SMU's leading scorer with 14, surpassing his total of 13 from SMU's win over Florida A&M on Thursday.
Well, the great thing about Edwards, too, is he's already an elite defender. Loves to defend on the ball. You've already seen him in the pass lanes. And right on cue, leads the transition, so unselfish. Just a big-time weapon now that he can score to go with his passing and his defense.
He knows we have a focus on him right now. Able to knock another ball loose.
He'd say, no, I don't know nothing about it. I just know I'm doing what I do out here.
Edwards last year averaging under 4 points a game, and like so many guys on this team, Andy Enfield and the staff have a vision for making them go from good to great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that NBA background with Coach and again, understanding it's a player's game. Coach has a great ability to give players freedom, but also have high expectations and high standards on those players to let them play through mistakes at the same time.
Here's Harris off the mark. Harris now 4 of 13 from the field, 9 points. Light has that ball knocked away, and a whistle comes on Harris. The drought continues from the field for both of these teams. Mustangs have not made a field goal in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Spartans in 4 minutes and 31 seconds.
Well, the thing about college basketball, you have to be able to win in different ways. You're not going to, every game's not going to be a track meet, as SMU has scored almost 100 points, or scored 100 in almost both games. One game did score over 100. So to be able to score that type of output, it's not going to be like that every night. You're going to have to play in the half court. You're going to have to play with small lineups, big lineups. So the versatility of this roster is definitely paying dividends in this game because they've had a lot of different contributors, even though they haven't all scored points.
Down low, battling hard, Traore against Breath, and again, Mustangs will have to score from the free throw line.
Yeah, would love to see them continue to get the ball inside. They do have a significant height size advantage, and almost every time they've gotten the ball inside, something good has come out of it. So much shooting on this team as well. But again, that just shows when they play in the half court, they play inside out, makes them even more difficult to stop.
Traore had his second career double-double in SMU's win over Florida A&M on Thursday. 19 points, 10 rebounds. Tonight, 5 points, 5 rebounds. Young man who has played at UC Santa Barbara and Auburn before making his way to Dallas. Giles has ball in his hands. He leads UNC Greensboro with 15 points. Polite has 8. Polite pulls back, throws it up, no good. And Cross has it. Foul on the floor. And they give it to Edwards. That's his first.
Again, just a physical game, so you're going to see some things like that happen. Henry's the type of young man, because we talked about him a ton already, but his motor being so relentless does draw those type of fouls. Edwards got tied up with him, and referee thought he did a little bit too much contact, Chris.
And two Mustangs who have 4 fouls apiece have checked back in. Boopie Miller and Samet Yigitoglu. Yigitoglu had his eligibility affirmed by the NCAA today, making his debut on U.S. soil. Had played in Turkey's first division for the last 3 years. Highly anticipated debut for that man down low. Cross will head to the free throw line. He is 3 points away from 1,000 on his career. Won't hit the milestone right now, but can draw just a little bit closer.
Yeah, great job in transition there again by Miller, instantly impacting the game once he gets back in, and found Cross in the corner. Cross had 2 defenders close out at him, splits the defenders, draws contact at the rim, and a guy who is a big-time player, already has ACC experience, started his career at Miami, then transferred to Louisville before going to UMass, where he averaged 15 and 9. He will be a major contributor, in my opinion, for SMU to do the things they want to do this season.
Under 6 minutes to go. Chris Maikowski, Brian Burton, and Brees Sorensen with you on ACC Network Extra, where our latest highlight comes from Malik Henry.
There goes that man once again. Henry willing his team. We are not going out without a fight, and we are going to continue to make our presence felt.
A night full of big plays from both sides. Henry again, happy homecoming. The young man from Longview, Texas.
Said, I can play amongst the trees. I don't care. I'm going to the rim with authority. Probably his 4th or 5th dunk tonight.
UNCG can trim it. The deficit to single digits on this trip down the floor.
There's another one of those deflections. Coach Jones wants to know, where are we at with deflections? Something they chart, something they care about, something they preach. Paying off.
Polite gets UNCG within 9.
Get the experience. Can't say enough about what that means.
Mike Jones wants to have active hands, continue to be disruptive on defense. Spartans are doing just that. SMU would like to push the pace, perhaps.
If only,
just like they did in the first half.
If only it was that easy.
Yeah, it's hard to do. UNC Greensboro made that a big point tonight, trying to slow the Mustangs down. Came in tonight the #1 tempo team in the country, shooting the ball every 12 minutes. 12 seconds, rather. There's the big man from Turkey, Yigitoglu, and he'll have a chance to set a 3-point play the old-fashioned way.
Again, I've said it many times tonight, Boopie Miller, one of the best point guards in the country, knows what his team needs, the execution, the one-hand pocket pass to the big fella, and didn't give it to him too low. Hit him right in the stomach where he can pick it up and still finish. To point guard, understanding how to execute on a timeout, and a great execution as well by Infield and his staff. And the big fella makes it look easy when it comes to finishing above the rim.
Samet Yigitoglu. He's up to double figures in his first game as a Mustang. Now 11 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line.
Yeah, 3 rebounds in 17 minutes. You can definitely see how he's going to be a big weapon and a big building block for the Mustangs.
You think the rest of the ACC is paying attention tonight?
I don't know if they're paying attention tonight, but they will eventually get the memo, my friend.
I think there have been a lot of text messages sent this evening. You got to get over to ACC Network Extra and check out this young man. How about this guy too? Boopie Miller.
It's Miller time. This time of the game, last 5 minutes. This is where you need veteran leadership and a dynamic guard who can make any play on the floor happen. There's Mr. Miller.
Saizonu trying to find his way around Traore. Traore bumps him for his 4th foul. That's 3 Mustangs now with 4 apiece.
You take out Traore, but then you put in Ambrose Hilton, who started this entire season until this game, the last 2 games, who's another high energy, high motor athlete, started his career in the SEC and has been another one of those guys in Moody Coliseum who has really developed over his course of his career.
Jorium Saizonu at the free throw line, somebody that Coach Mike Jones calls a consistent playmaker. See if he can turn it on over the course of these final 4 minutes. Only 4 points for him so far this evening. 1 of 4 shooting. Can't get the second free throw to go.
UNCG now 68% from the foul line. Have gotten there 22 times, but have to be able to connect. And there's Miller again, putting pressure on the defense. Such a hard guy to keep in front. He'll be taking a trip to the foul line.
Saizonu wraps him up. 2 fouls on him. It's a 13-point Mustang lead. Under 4 to go on the Hilltop.
Amongst the roster versatility, I talk about that a lot, but they can play a lot of different ways. They can play small, they can play fast, they can play big. And again, if they continue to really sell out for the defensive side of the ball, this team could definitely make some noise. As we've seen a lot on this campus, football is nationally ranked, volleyball is in the top 10, soccer, I believe, is nationally ranked.
Yep.
So SMU as an athletic department making a ton of noise, including volleyball being the #1 team in the country.
Right here on this floor, knocking off the #1 Pitt Panthers, one of 5 wins.
I think you were there for that, right?
Very much blessed to be on the call for that big moment in Mustang volleyball history. Kenyon Giles up to 17 points now for UNC Greensboro. He's the leading scorer for the Spartans. Firing from distance, Gorder thought about it. Instead, it's Edwards with another opportunity. Off the mark. Edwards remains at 14. Miller, second chance. Good. And he'll get another chance at the free throw line.
Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Miller playing with so much pace, taking his time. Shot fake to get you in the air and a little up and under with the hoop and the arm. He said he was motivated. Felt like he should have been acknowledged for ACC Player of the Week. He did get ACC Co-Player of the Week last year when he was a player at Wake Forest. But his numbers on paper, he felt like were better than the selection. So he's going to keep making a case for himself, I believe. And there's one thing you don't want to do with a Chicago guard. You don't want to give him extra motivation.
No. Talked with the SMU coaches at practice yesterday about what they're doing to help Miller get from good to great. They say they don't want to see him overextend, make smarter plays, and more film study. And he is locked into all 3 of those categories. Giles short, and Miller comes down with a rebound. Edwards. Good. 17 for Edwards tonight.
Extends his career high. Already had it, now he has it even bigger. 17 points, former career high was 13. Again, we've talked about how this young man has transformed, rededicated himself to the game, put in the extra work, has the confidence from the staff, and he is playing like it.
Polite. Bulls up.
He's put the roster together to be able to do it.
Brought back returning players like Chuck Harris, Ambrose Hilton, Edwards, Miller, feeding the big man on the alley-oop. Welcome to the United States of America, Samet Yigitoglu.
He makes it look so easy. I mean, that point guard center combo, love to see what we are seeing from those two connecting, almost like the Chris Paul, Wembanyama right up the road in San Antonio.
Yigitoglu providing some fireworks. Maybe some more coming. Akram Ahmed did not want to be on a highlight reel.
Smart foul right there, smart foul. I mean, look at this, just like making it look easy, hitting the easy button, and Boopie Miller with that assist. And the next play, he kicks it up to Edwards, and Edwards kicks it to the big fella.
Let's check in with Bree.
Yeah, Coach Enfield said that Samet Yigitoglu has such an advantage with his international experience. When you play on these club teams as an amateur overseas in high school, you play against much older guys. You learn to play with more poise against these really mature players and to play the game the right way. Coach described Yigitoglu as a very physical young man who can use his body to gain angles. He's used to playing against older guys who are more physically mature. He said he has a high basketball IQ and is well above his freshman status.
Tell you, Bree, Brian, and I think we're all drilling on the last name in pregame. I've misfired a couple of times tonight. This will get better going forward. I'm sure our friend John Little, who will be in the chair next time SMU has a home game, has been doing the same thing. The Turkish families, it's tough, and I hope they understand. We'll get used to it. We'll adjust.
Well, everybody's going to have to adjust to his game on the floor.
Yeah.
More importantly, because he is a force to be reckoned with. Talking to Chris Capcoast in November, it's a month early to be able to get the big fella eligible. And the best part for him is he's playing with such a veteran team. So he's playing with veterans. He's got older guards that can make his life a lot easier. He doesn't have to go work and put the team on his back. He gets to literally get spoon-fed lobs at the rim, and he'll only get better as the season goes on.
It wasn't a long press release. All it really took from SMU this afternoon to say he is immediately eligible for competition. And I imagine that simple message sold a few more tickets. Edwards, left wing, triple off the back of the iron. UNC Greensboro looking for points in a hurry.
Well, apart from Greensboro, they'll be much better when, again, they play against competition that's more like size in their conference. They're not playing against 7'2" centers and 6'10" power forwards and 6'8" small forwards. It's just, that's one of the advantages for SMU. And over the course of the game, it's been hard for UNCG to get field goals in the half court. They've been able to get to the free throw line, but that's one of the strengths, again, that SMU is really harping on, and Coach Enfield and his staff is, are we going to be able to get the kills? Are we going to be able to get the stops consistently? And tonight, they really stepped up in the second half and locked down on the defensive end. And still scored 80 points, mind you, by the way. In a very ugly game where they shot 43% from the field, still able to score 80 points, again, says a lot about the offensive firepower.
Well, SMU on the verge of matching last year's 3-0 start, a team that finished 20-10 overall. Season ended with first-round exit in the NIT. At the table on the official review, looking to see who last touched the basketball. Back on March 21st, SMU announced a change in leadership. And on April 1st, Andy Enfield named the head coach of this program, just a few months ahead of the Mustangs' official move into the ACC on the 1st of July.
You've been around a little SMU basketball. What's your early impressions, your first time calling the Mustangs? What do you think about the early impressions of the squad?
I love the quickness, especially what we saw in the first half, every bit as advertised on the tempo, which is going to be a lot of fun for fans this season as we see Matt Cross check out 2 points shy of 1,000 on his career, hit that milestone against Butler on Friday, most likely. But I think the biggest thing I was excited about tonight, in addition to that pace of play, was Yigitoglu and the debut and what he is going to mean to SMU's chances at success in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He has a chance at being one of the best big men in this league from the jump. And I think that should have everybody around the league a little bit frightened.
Again, I'll give an asterisk on the other side of the ball. Giles, we haven't talked about him in a little while, but he's 21 points in this game, 17 in the opener. The transfer from Radford looks like he will be a very big-time player in the SoCon Conference. And I don't know if he's better with the mask or without. He's going to have to figure that out, but he may have to keep the mask on for the rest of the season.
I'm saying, keep it. Stay with what works.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, I think there's so much talent in the ACC, and you see a lot of talented freshmen come in. But this young man is definitely up there. But to me, what I'm impressed with this SMU team, again, is the roster depth and the versatility. They have so many bodies that they can put in. Even when their sensational freshmen not in the game, they have so many other options. When you look at just the two gentlemen that are in the game right now, in Traore, who had a double-double last game. You got Colbert. You have Ambrose Hilton. I mean, you can come at it in waves. Yeah. Frost is a frontline guy who can also play small forward. Everyone that has gotten in the game is a major contributor and can be in a big way. So really excited about the upside of this team and where they can go.
5 players scored in double figures in SMU's win over Florida A&M. Not quite as many tonight. 3, but also a player with 9 in Harris. Right on the verge there, Cross with 8. So very close to matching that total as far as the depth of the scoring threats.
Yeah, and in 3 games, you're averaging over 90 points a game. You're able to score at a high level. You've kept a huge, minus the first half. Maybe it wasn't as, but did a great job defensively. Have held him really in the second half. And then held him to right at 41%. They want to keep him below 40, but another very impressive win for SMU. We have the debut of the full roster.
Yeah. This is what this team is going to look like going forward. And the Mustangs earn an 81-68 win over UNC Greensboro. 3-0 for the second consecutive year.